one thing led to another, and I'm in Italy, and now I'm like, am I actually going to meet somebody that I've never met in my entire life, never FaceTimed, don't have mutual friends? Am I doing this? And guys, I contemplated for so much, and then I'm like, you know what? Fuck it.
Chemical X.
What's up, guys? Welcome to season 3. I can't even fucking believe we made it here.
So excited to be here. Season 3 of the Chemical X podcast. If you haven't already subscribed, now is the best time to. So subscribe, like, leave a comment, follow us on Instagram.
Give us 5 stars. We're 5 out of 5. You know the drill, guys. If you're new, then you're so lucky you get to see us with this amazing setup, guys. Can we just give it a round of applause for Veronica and her amazing set design skills? I really thought we couldn't up what we did in season 2, but you really proved to me that now I'm scared to see what season 4 is.
Well, we better not hit a season 4 because I ran out of ideas. So
I agree. Like, guys, get used to this because don't expect anything in season 4.
I think we said the same thing the last time we did season 2, and here we are.
Here we are. We still changed up the set. For season 2, I so happened to have COVID and Veronica was stuck doing the set alone. Now we're in season 3. What was my excuse? Not COVID. It was that I was away and you still got stuck doing the set alone.
Good thing I love to do it. I'm really excited, guys. We have a little bit of a sexier vibe.
Yes.
Moodier. We're channeling our California, Miami Vice nights.
We're manifesting. We're trying to show you guys that the grass is always greener on the other side.
And the other side is where we are, baby. So stick with us if you want to be where the grass is always greener.
Or where you're going to have to mow the fucking lawn. Manscape.
This set came out with a budget of I don't know what, and I made it happen. Guys, I just want you to know, like, we're poor. Like, I know it looks fancy, but like this is Dollarama and a lot of glue. So and Facebook Market. So if you think, don't believe everything you see. Okay, that's all I'll say.
But I will give a shout out to your amazing company you started, Maison Brut, guys. Veronica I'm not gonna take away your
fucking job. Like, what the hell?
I'll give it to you. I'll stop there.
Let me talk about my work.
Well, I just want to say I lent you the outfit that I wore in Barcelona, but why is it matching your bottle that you made?
Oh my god, bestie.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So I started a company called Maison Brut. You can follow me on Instagram. I create custom champagne bottles to keep as art pieces, and yeah, go check it out, bitch. And I also, shameless promo. It's behind me. Alea, where's your body strands?
It's not behind me, but you also got a shelf. I didn't. So listen, I get it. There was like hate when I was on vacation and you were doing this design.
You have to come back and say I love it, no matter what happens, because you didn't put a touch. You have to say it was perfect. You're not allowed to give construction criticism.
I agree.
Construction criticism.
Guys, it's been, I think, about a month and a half since we filmed, because we had pre-filmed episodes before I had left on vacation. And so if we're a little rusty today, like, bear with us. You're fucking lucky we're back. You're lucky we have a new set.
Yeah.
And
babe, get the lube. We got to lube ourselves up. He's like, shut up. We don't use lube. Have lube. Is it like a thing? Like, people are embarrassed? I think it's actually a younger thing that people think using lube means like
you're a rookie?
Yeah, like you're a rookie. But I'm like, you use lube once and you're like, wait, this is slippy.
Yeah.
This is fun.
This is fun.
I can't do this. So for all you like little
my body doesn't, generate like this does.
You always think like, nah, I don't need it. But then you try to say, okay, well, I didn't know we could slip this hard. So
exactly.
That was a very sexual pun.
Yeah.
That I didn't mean to make. Anyways, welcome back, Alessia. You've been on the longest fucking trip ever.
I know.
I honestly started hosting interviews for people to take your place. No. I wasn't sure you were coming back.
The second you told me that there was a girl who said, it's fine, we could do an episode without Alessia there, I took that flight immediately and I said, bitch, nobody's taking my fucking spot. I paid to be here. This is my seat.
Now, at least you know my worth. My worth? You're like,
my worth. Our worth. You're like, remember who did this?
Yeah, don't get too many ideas here, sweetie. Remember who was on their hands and knees.
Remember who, told you should do this podcast with me. So.
Are we breaking up right now? What
I don't know.
fuck?
But like I said, I get X, you get chemical. Okay, let's get into this week's episode.
A lot of things have happened since.
Yeah.
Do you want to like maybe recap a bit about where you are in life and who you are for any new listeners?
Who I am. When I go to a job and somebody says, "Explain to me who you are," I actually don't have anything to myself. So.
I say, babe, I made it. I spent 4 weeks making a CV. Read that and summarize. Like
literally.
Like.
I mean, I'm Alessia. I'm 25 years old, and I prefer to be called Deandra. And
nobody calls you that.
I feel like a loser every time I'm like, my title is that I'm single, but like I'm recently out of a breakup. I would say about like maybe 2 months now, and I'm just living life. I'm looking at life a little differently these days. I took a little trip that changed my life. And I want to say I'm happy to be back, but I'm not, and I'm depressed, and I cry about it every day. So. Welcome back to you, to me.
I feel like I'm in the opposite boat. So
perfect.
I'm Veronica. I'm in a relationship, steady going on, baby. And I had my trip that changed my life about 3 years ago, and I still cry every day that I'm back. So Alessia, it does not get better. My boyfriend's like, what the fuck? Like, I'm here.
And you met me. Like, your life should only be amazing.
It's like, babe, maybe we would have met if I stayed in Australia. Like, I don't know. Maybe you would have been like, who's this hot girl that I always wanted to meet? And then you flew over. You think you would fly over to Australia for me? He's saying yes, but I don't believe him.
I don't believe him either.
What? Oh, shut up. Oh. That's what you say now that you have me. I wanted to when it happened.
The only regret is that I didn't meet you sooner.
Anyways, so many things happened.
Yeah.
We are like in 2 different places in our lives, which I think is really cool because everybody relates to different things.
Do you want to finish my sentence?
That was so ugly.
We are ugly. Yeah. I think to say changed my life is like, okay, like calm down. I mean, I just feel like I look at life a little bit differently now, and I want things in partners that I didn't know I wanted, and going on this trip and meeting somebody was like very eye-opening for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just so like, I feel like I've never in my life been at a state where I'm like so aligned with the universe, and I feel like all my dreams are gonna come true, and like I'm just like so zen. Life will unfold the way it should unfold, and I guess that's why I say this trip really helped me. And guys, if you're getting over a breakup, there's nothing like a nice trip.
Crazy.
To remind you that there's a world out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I totally agree with you. I think when you're in a relationship, you have... So the way you think about life when you're in a relationship versus when you're single is very different. Because when you're in a relationship, you have these like plans like, okay, we're going to get married, and then eventually we're going to have kids.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be like, you have already a sense of the future, and you already kind of have this path aligned together. Like, where you're going. There's going to be what they want, what you want. So you really feel like you're going that way. However, when you're single, it just feels like there's no sort of route, like apart from your own, but people change your route so quickly. Like you meet somebody and suddenly you're in a different country, or suddenly you're getting a different job. And that's why when you're single, people are so scared of the unknown, but it also opens up that opportunity. Like you're saying, like you feel like your dreams are coming true because you just feel that the opportunity is there.
Exactly.
Whereas sometimes when you're in a relationship, exactly pretty much where it's going, where it's leading to.
Exactly.
So
because
that
you're
like,
working towards something. Now I'm like, wow, I only really am working on myself and what I want. And I actually think for once in my life, I'm like, there's beauty in the unknown and not knowing. And just the idea that like I'll never be 25 again, and I'm actually like living in the moment. I don't think I've been in that place for a long time. So, and I also feel like when you're in that state where like you're so happy to be single and you're like vibing, somebody wants to catch you, because it's like when you have that energy, it's like somebody's like, oh, let me try and catch that fish. You know what I mean?
Always
Catfish.
You always like attract what, you know what I mean? Like they always say like when you're searching too hard for something, you're never going to find it, and it's going to be when you forget about it that it's suddenly going to come up. But I think another thing that's super exciting when you're single, my boyfriend's going, babe, like,
like, are you trying to let him know that
No, I just think I've already lived this part of like discovery in myself. So, and it's amazing. I think every part of life is fun, you know, like being in a relationship, being single, there's beauty and all.
Amazingness in both.
But I just think like what's funny is like when you become single, there's these things that when you get into a relationship, you almost have like this mental list. Like, I want to marry Chuck Bass. And then you get into a relationship, you're like, okay, well, I have to put to bed the fact that I will never be allowed to marry Chuck Bass.
And I'm not Blair Waldorf.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So like you have these like things, you're like, what if I would be a princess one day? But then you meet a guy, you fall in love, and you say, well, my princess dreams have died.
Exactly.
But obviously that's an exaggeration, but it's just, we have these like lists of things that we want to accomplish in our life. And sometimes if you get into a relationship when there's things on your list that you're not willing to give up, like Chuck, call me still, like make an arrangement. But I'm joking, babe. You're Chuck Bass.
You are my Chuck Bass.
Babe, you're my Chuck Bass. That's what I meant. It was like a pun. But sometimes there's things that you're not ready to give up. And that's where a relationship starts to become heavy on you, because it becomes to the point where you're like, okay, is this relationship now worth me giving up these things that I kind of wanted?
I think my fear really was like, I stay in a relationship and then I regret, or I take the risk. And I mean, I could regret, but I don't think, but you regret once you actually see like life outside of it.
Exactly.
It's the unknown that scares everybody.
Exactly.
And I'm just so happy to be single. I'm so happy to be living my fucking best life.
I always say, and like, not me, like I didn't invent this quote, but you always regret like the chances. You'll always regret more the chances you didn't take rather than the ones you actually took and didn't like. You know what I mean? Like, you always rather know.
Well, because it's good to know you tried it and then you're like, no. Then like, what if?
Then what if? The what if is the killer.
I know.
It is the killer.
Yeah.
It's the killer of everything. You know? There's so many ways what ifs can come into your life, and it's always super heavy and it's hard to deal with, because even though there's a small chance it could have gone right, you're always going to think about that,
It's so true. It's so true.
The best way is just to always do what you want to do and live your life to the fullest, and not let things and people and family, friends stop you from what you want to do.
And I think I also realized in this time that like really like time is like so short, like we're actually living on borrowed time. And if we're not doing what we love and we're not being with people that we want to be with, then why the hell are we here? So I think really like everything has just been like drawn in my head now that I'm like, wow, like don't dread the small things, like life goes on, and just like enjoy whatever time we have here. So Veronica, I have to tell you that we are no longer gonna continue this friendship, because being away I also realized that you come with problems, and I don't need that in my life. I'm kidding.
You're the negativity that has been surrounding me. It's so true. I think a lot of things that have happened have like put into perspective life, and just making sure you're doing what you love and what you're happy doing, because life is really short. And we take it for granted, and you get into like this kind of comfort zone, and then things happen, you lose somebody. Like we both lost a close friend of ours, which just kind of like shocks you into saying like, oh fuck, you know what I mean? Like this is crazy. So I think we should always kind of keep that fear, because it drives you to always make the decisions that you really want.
Now every day when I wake up, I really say like, I'm so happy to be alive. Like thank you so much for this day, because you don't know what tomorrow holds. And it's something I never in the past would have done, and now I'm just like so grateful.
I totally agree, and I think that's the best way to live your life, and we need to hold on to that, because it makes sure that you're always doing something for you. You know, a lot of people are so afraid to give up one thing to have a greater thing, because they can't see that it's worth it. You know what I mean? But nothing good ever comes easy, as cheesy as that quote is, but it's true. Like you had to give up a good relationship that you did have amazing times and you got great things out of it, but you had to give that up to move on to your next step and to learn bigger things that you wouldn't have been able to learn. You know what I mean? So there's always gonna be a sacrifice you have to make.
It's so true.
And it's deep. Like there's always gonna be a sacrifice. I know when I left to Australia, like I sacrificed leaving everybody that I knew for a year and a half, and like that's deep. Like you're literally saying goodbye to everybody. It was a really hard goodbye, but I knew that at the end of that crying goodbye, I was going through the doors of freedom. So you know, it made it a little easier. But
yeah, I think the best thing about single for me right now is literally freedom. It's like, I know that there's still other steps I need to in order to get to other places in my life, but just knowing that I don't have to kind of like report to anybody and that I'm my own
report,
like, not report, but
I know what you mean.
Wow, though I'm really making it seem like
no, it's not report at all. I know what you mean.
I'm free to.
You don't have to say, hey, by the way, I'm going here.
Yeah, like I feel like my plans just involve me right now, and whoever's gonna come and match me at that point in my life, like cool, but I'm chilling.
Yeah, that's the thing about a relationship, because it's not like we're friends where, you know, each friend has like that certain thing.
Yeah.
That you like, it's like one friend you want to go to like a pool party with, the other friend you'll maybe go to a fucking museum. Like, I'm definitely not the friend we're going to a museum together.
Same.
But
so
you're like, I'm not even the person going to the museum.
Don't even get any ideas.
But like in a relationship, they almost kind of become that person you have to do everything with, which is like not always, you know, how it is. But
a relationship is compromise.
Yeah, so you kind of have to do everything with them, and like to be able to just live for yourself
and not compromise is amazing.
No more museums, babe.
No more fucking museums. So I just came back from a trip. I went to Italy.
Pause before you say this. If you guys can hear the music in the background coming from my downstairs neighbor.
Yeah.
Upstairs neighbor.
I think we should like throw a rock at his window.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Like, are you joking? We're filming a podcast. We're about to be famous. Like,
does he not have any respect?
I don't know.
I think he's actually getting me back because me and my boyfriend yell at each other like hyenas at 2 a.m. So he's going, oh, you're doing a podcast? Oh, you clicked record? AC/DC at level 100.
Yeah. So
anyways, I'll let it slide for this one time.
Yeah, whatever. So I just came back from a nice trip. This trip was really not super planned. Like, it came out of nowhere. I actually didn't even think I was traveling this year.
I didn't get invited on this trip, by the way, just so we're clear.
Wow.
You're like, wait a minute.
Really looked at it that way.
I thought I would, you know, make you feel bad about it, even though I couldn't come.
Yeah.
No, but I'm obviously going to take my chance.
For sure. And that's why you're like negative in my life. And that's why like this trip really made me realize that we're just colleagues.
Exactly.
And we're going to make it work. Okay. So I went on a trip. I went to Italy with my 3 girlfriends. We had the time of our life. It was so unknown for all of us. We kind of just all went. We're all single. And it's very hard to find like 3 friends who are all single at the same time. So it came at a nice
really
time.
Hard.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. I wasn't on the roster, by the way.
You were not on the roster.
Babe, what the fuck? I had a trip to Italy.
So after Italy, I kind of left it like, I wasn't too like sure on what I was doing next. I was following a guy on Instagram that I had just, you know, when you follow somebody on Instagram, it's been like literally over 4 years. We just follow each other on Instagram. Never really spoke, but I always knew that one day.
But like somebody you knew like mutually, or just like no
mutually, nothing.
Random, you said hottie follow.
Random. I don't even remember how we started following each other. No mutual friends. Just a really cute guy. And it's 4 years we're following each other, and never thought anything of it. But one thing I did know that I would eventually meet this guy. Okay. So now
I know what you mean though, because there's people that I don't know them, but then I just feel like one day we'll cross paths.
But you know what I mean? Is that like weird? Or I don't know, maybe I put it out in the universe. And so yeah, I was just like, I'm going to Italy. I saw that he was traveling, and I was just like, what are your summer plans? And then we just like got to talking, and then one thing led to another, and I'm in Italy, and now I'm like, am I actually going and meet somebody that I've never met in my entire life, never FaceTimed, don't have mutual friends? Am I doing this? And guys, I contemplated for so much, and then I'm like, you know what?
Do you believe in aliens?
I mean, I think so.
Yeah, I would say I do too, even though you didn't ask. But I have another question.
It's question day.
Do you think that aliens have pubes?
Absolutely.
But like, what happens when, you remember in like Scary Movie 3, like his dick was his finger? Like, are they gonna have pubes on their hand?
They probably have pubes everywhere.
Well, I would say they would, but maybe they're using Manscaped.
They for sure are using Manscaped, and that's why they're
because Manscaped is out of this world. So
exactly.
Obviously the aliens are using it too, and you should be too. So calling to all the men in this galaxy, you better be using Manscaped, and you better be using the Lawnmower 4.0. Which is
Amazing.
The best razor, the best ball razor, waterproof, rechargeable.
Yeah. All you have to do is take that razor in the shower and you have a clean bush.
Exactly. So don't forget, we actually have a discount for you, 20% off with our code ChemicalX.
And free shipping. That's ChemicalX at checkout for 20% off and free shipping, guys. You go on the website and anything you want, anything in the galaxy, it's all 20% off.
Exactly. So go check out manscaped.com.
I know you guys are probably looking at our set and saying, amazing. I know I had nothing to do with it. Veronica did it all. But the only thing I'll take credit for is our amazing sponsor, Neonific.
Yep.
You guys can get any custom signs. And let's be honest, your work is nice, but like the neon sign really makes the room lit.
It covers all the mistakes that I did that you don't see. That nice glow, it just fixes everything. And I'll tell you what it'll fix too. When you're bringing home a guy that's like not a 10 out of 10, throw on a neon light and suddenly it's like beer goggles. So
yeah,
it makes everything sexier.
It's like the music when you're having sex. Like you need it, especially on the first date.
Especially, we all need that nice glow to cover up our flaws.
You guys can get custom signs as big as you want, as small as you want, or you can get signs that are already made, like the two you see on the side, the heart and the rainbow. These are already made signs.
Mm-hmm. So use our discount code ChemicalX at checkout and you will receive 10% off and free shipping. So head over to neonific.ca and use that discount.
Fuck it. Like, let me put myself in an uncomfortable situation and see what comes out of it. And I think when you put yourself in uncomfortable situations, it starts to get addicting, that rush also.
Yeah, then you end up in a box under somebody's floorboard.
And I don't come back to Montreal.
So be careful there how many risks you take and how many Instagram people you know.
Yeah, like that's wild now that I actually think about it. Like,
I mean, to be honest, as much as people will say like, be careful and do this and do that, it's like, yes.
But it's also the world we live in. Like,
I also though think all of my best memories come from taking a risk.
Exactly.
And like, I'm not condoning taking dangerous risks.
But like, I looked at his Instagram. He looked like a good guy.
Do your research, guys. I mean, don't be a fucking idiot.
I did like my scan through Instagram. He looked like a good guy. But then again, that means nothing, guys. Be safe, guys. Wear condoms.
You ever seen the show Catfish, Alessia? I looked at his Instagram and he looked like a decent guy.
Wow.
But you never FaceTimed him.
I am not condoning doing that. Even my friends, when we were in Italy, they're like, are you actually going? Like, aren't you going to like FaceTime him or something? Like, what if he doesn't even speak proper English? Like, what if he doesn't speak English? What if it's not him? Like, Ale, like, FaceTime him. And I'm like, I've come this far to not come this far. Like, at this point, like, do it for the content. Like, I'm not going to FaceTime somebody now and then, like, let me just go the full 9 yards.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Because, it's more fun when... obviously it's not ideal, but it's not having like any knowledge Veronica. Is fun though.
I didn't even know his last name. I don't even know if his first name was actually his first name on Instagram. Like, I have Deandra. Like, who the fuck?
You were gonna show up calling him by his Insta name.
It's crazy.
Yeah. What did I just say? 123_5. Exactly. You're going, hey babe.
Like,
he's going, that's not my real name.
It's crazy. Okay, so let me just set the scene now. Okay, so I'm in Italy. I'm unsure now if I was gonna do another week in Italy or if I was gonna go to Mykonos and meet him. Okay, so now I decided. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. I'm going to Mykonos. I'm gonna meet this guy. And so now whatever, we get to talking and I'm just like, my flight like is gonna arrive at 4:30 and he's showing up at 9:30 at night. So now that gives me like, 4 hours alone. But now at this point he took control and he got us a hotel. So now at this hotel, there was also going to be his friend staying at a villa that's 3 minutes away. And in this villa, there was like 20 people. Okay. So now I guess to be respectful, he's not going to be like, hey, let's go to the villa. I've never met you in my entire life. So he got a hotel for us down the street. And I arrived at 4:30. He was only arriving later. So I get there and now I'm like, I get off the flight. I'm shaking at this point, guys. I know I'm sounding like I'm such a risk taker, but I couldn't.
The risks are catching up to you.
The second I got on that flight to go to Mykonos, I was like, what am I doing? I could still turn back down. I could go back to Italy. I could come up with an excuse. I could do anything else. And I was just like, you know what? No. I pushed myself. And then, so I get to the hotel. Now at this point, I'm like, wait, I don't know anything about you. Like, how am I checking in? He said, don't worry, you could check in before So I'm getting there and I'm like, I have your Instagram name. Like, I don't have fucking shit. Like, that's fucked up.
She's going, what's the name under? You're like, he has brown hair.
Yeah, like, this is his Instagram. Like, what?
She's going, ma'am, I need a first name and last name and date of birth.
Yeah. So I get there and I'm like, hey, is there any information I need in order to check in?
Like your last name?
Like your last name or anything about you? Like, that might be helpful.
And also throw in your credit card information too, but like, whatever. That's not like necessary.
So like best case scenario is you show up at 4:30 and you have that time for yourself to get ready. But there was a little bit of a confusion, and then she said there's 2 rooms available. There's 2 rooms that are set for your reservation. So I'm like, what a fucking classy guy gets me my own room. Like, are you kidding me? This is everything I ever dreamed of.
Absolutely.
No pressure now. Like, if we don't hit it off.
You have
like,
your privacy.
I have my privacy. He doesn't have to see me like a rat in the morning.
Right away on day one.
Beautiful. So whatever she says, there's 2 rooms. So the girl shows me both rooms. One is like more of like a simple room, and the other one is a suite. I'm like, okay, like I'm going to go in the simple room, even though I deserve the suite.
You're like, I'm going to be humble and assume that the suite is for me, but I'm going to be nice by taking the simple
Could you imagine I take the suite and I go, your closet's there. Could you imagine?
You go, hey, babe, thank you so much for your room. The janitor's, kitchen is there. That's your room.
Like, you really didn't have to.
Thank you so much. So the guys, jacuzzi, perfect.
As I get there and I FaceTime Veronica, I'm like, wow, what a classy guy, guys. I'm in my own room. I saw both places, but like, this is my room. And like, I just think like it's so classy, this and that. Guys, I get a knock on my door, like literally, like as I'm on FaceTime with Veronica, I'm like, I gotta call you back. And I'm ugly from the airport. Here I am thinking I have 4 extra hours to get ready and that I'm not seeing anybody. So I have 4 hours to become a Victoria's Secret model, okay? And let me tell you, when that knock came, and so one of his friends who was at the villa kind of just came to check up on me at that time when I was on FaceTime saying how he was a classy guy. And suddenly he goes, by the way, there was just like a little error. Like, this is not actually your room. Like, your room is the other one. And I was just like, oh my God, of course, no problem.
You're like, I did deserve the suite.
So, absolutely. At this point, I feel so ugly. I'm like, wow, he's not even going to get on the flight because he's going to let his friend know that I'm ugly and don't even show up because this is a catfish. So
what did you say your Instagram was again? I don't know if this is the same girl.
Like, come to Mykonos and all, but like, she doesn't look like her Insta. Like, I wouldn't come if I were you. Like, get rid of her.
Suddenly you're getting a knock on the suite and they're going, actually, I think there was an error. You don't have any bookings here.
So now I'm getting to the suite, and as I'm passing by, there's 5 people in the Jeep that are also part of the villa. So now not only does that guy think I'm ugly, but also the 5 people in the Jeep. But it's fine. I wave, I say hi. I'm like, guys, I'm just gonna take a nap. I'll see you guys later. So now I get in the room, and now I'm like, it's like 5:15 at this point. I'm like, okay, he arrives at 9:30. Like,
but now this is your room together, right? Like,
oh yeah, that's another thing. Like, what am I supposed to call my friends now and tell them that he's not a classy guy and he didn't get me my own fucking room, and now I'm stuck with him, and now he's seeing me in the morning as a rat, and now I have no choice but, to suck it up.
You just blew up his head, but he wasn't even there. But you were like, wow, I'm so excited.
I was so impressed, and then I suddenly was
dreams.
Like, yeah.
They said, sorry,
it's because
babe.
what my fear was is like, guys, just picture you going and see somebody you've never met in your entire life, and like, you're sharing a room with this person, and also at the same time, they're seeing your luggage open, your disaster. Like, I'm a mess, and I will gladly say it, but I was somehow putting all my Listerine together, my toothbrush. Like, I was doing things that are not me.
Not you. You were still lying. He doesn't know the real you.
He doesn't know the real me. I mean, by the end of the trip, I think so.
Yeah.
But
there's only so long you could fake things like that.
Absolutely.
By the second day, you're going, fuck it.
My expiry date was 24 hours. So... yeah, so I'm basically, doing what I have to do. The 3 S's: shit, shower, shave. I got to be smooth. I got to be...
You better shit all you can because it's not happening for the next 10 days.
Exactly. Thank you.
You said, how many laxatives can I swallow, and does it work in advance?
Oh my God. So now my fear in all this was that he's coming now to the room. We share the room. And like, I've never met you before. And now like, what? You're just going to come in and like, what am I? You're showing up. I'm like ready to go sitting on the couch. Like, should I just be with like sushi naked? Yeah. Like, I don't fucking know. Like, do you know what I mean though? It's very like, hi, I'm Alessia.
You're on the bed with a towel over your pussy going, hey babe, what a champagne glass.
That's what it feels like.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? At this point, I'm literally shaking, guys. I'm calling my friends. I'm like, what should I do? Should I be on the balcony? Like, where should I be when he comes? Because like, he's probably gonna have to shower, and like, I don't want to meet somebody and be like, hi. Like, anyways, I know I'm making it seem like all of this, so I hope he doesn't watch this episode because now he's really gonna know how I felt when I just played it off like, hi, it's so nice to meet you.
I was just cleaning up.
I was just, putting all my stuff together. It's so nice to meet you. Hi, how are you? Like, I played it off so smooth.
We always do.
Anyways, so he shows up. So now at this point, it's like 8:30, and he had said, like, if you want to go to the villa with my friends, like, go ahead. I'm just going to come back, shower. I'm sure he wanted that time, too, to be like, can I breathe before I meet a girl? And like,
yeah, you know what I mean? Coming in airport,
it's like,
Greece.
Can you take me out to dinner before I get naked in front of you? Like, Jesus. So at 8:30, I'm ready, and I'm actually planning on going to the villa, but then anyway, it just didn't end up happening. And then he was like, do you have a key to leave me so that when I get there, like, I'm able to get in? And I'm like, actually, I'm not at the villa. I'm going to be waiting with sushi on my body for you to come because...
And do you like champagne? Because I'm, putting 2 glasses.
But it's like, what are my options? I go to the villa to meet people I do not know, to talk about a guy that I also do not know. Or do I wait for the guy I do not know to go see the other people I do not know?
You absolutely wait, because the first question they're asking is, how do you know him? And you say, I don't. And then they say, wait, what? It's better he's there to make the jokes.
Absolutely.
So
it's also like, you wonder, you're like, are they gonna get my humor? Like, are we gonna connect? There's even that stuff. Like, it's one thing you see a good looking guy, but it's like, can they keep up with you?
Yeah.
Do they speak up? Do they speak English? You know what I mean? Like, it's just all things that like, okay, like,
do they speak English? Okay.
You know what I mean?
Where'd you get him? Rentabride.com? Like, I don't know. Do they speak English?
Wow.
How have you been talking?
Oh my God. Okay, so whatever. So he shows up. I'm like, hey, how are you? Oh my God, it's so nice to finally meet you. And now at this point on, we're just like, okay, like, he's just like, I'm gonna shower, like everything I thought, I'm like, yeah, take your time. Oh my God, please. I'm like cleaning up. Ew, like, I didn't have nothing to do. I literally like fucking created the whole scene.
You rearranged the decor of
Are you kidding me? I moved the bed from one side to the other.
Because the lighting was better.
Exactly.
You have to plan. You got your chance too.
Are you kidding me? You think this set came like this? No, we planned. Exactly.
Absolutely.
The other episode, we're talking about how when you don't plan, it's always the best. But I'm sorry, guys. My toothpaste was aligned with my fucking toothbrush. Like, shit that never... Usually my toothbrush is in another room. Like...
She started changing the light bulbs to more flattering...
I almost brought this neonific side. Crazy.
He's going, Chemical X, isn't that? You're going, nope. I think it's the name of the hotel, actually. I'm not sure.
Oh, my God. So at this point on, he's like, is everything good in the room? Like, is everything good? In my head, I'm like, yeah, bitch. I thought I had my own room, but... This will do. It's fine.
Yeah, in the room we're sharing, it's fine.
I didn't even at this point let everybody know that,
No, you don't.
At this point, I'm like, he's a classy guy. And guys, I had my own room the whole time.
I chose to go in the other room. It was my decision.
It was my decision. We didn't even use the other room. It was just
there. He bought it to be nice, but I chose because I'm independent.
So now he gets ready and we head on out to the villa. And now I'm meeting a bunch of other people. I still don't know the person I'm with.
This is something
I just want everyone to know that, there were moments from those 4 hours of being alone that I thought about taking a flight back and leaving several times. I was like, you know what? If I leave now, I can just say I had a panic attack. I'm not feeling well. I got bit by a spider. Like, I thought of it all, okay?
And I broke my arms.
I thought of it all, okay? I even... took a shower and flooded the whole bathroom. So I'm super grateful that happened in the time that he was not there, because I'm just a klutz at heart and he would find out, but at least not on the first day.
Absolutely.
Anyways, so after I cleaned the whole scene of that, showered, everything, I was ready. He takes a shower and then we head on out to the villa, and then we get to the villa and now like I'm in a situation where it's like, what do I do? Like, do I stick by him? But I also don't want to stick by him. I want to like meet the new people, but
I'm gonna be honest, this sounds like you were on Too Hot to Handle or some dating show, but you weren't aware. Like, nobody called you to tell you that the cameras are there.
In a month, I'm gonna find out, like, the show's gonna air.
Yeah, in a month, they're saying, hey, babe, here's the first season. If you want to check out the first episode, you're going, what the fuck?
Crazy.
Meeting 22 strangers in a villa.
Wow.
Like, what?
Now that I think about it, that would be a really good TV show. Like,
now you're, like, checking all your snaps, seeing if there's a camera in the background.
oh my God. So yeah, so we go to the villa and I'm kind of like just mingling and everything. And then that night we kind of just drank, got wasted, and just like got to know each other more. And then we just like hit it off, and it was like super fun.
What was your first impression? Like, because obviously when you don't know somebody, like, there's so many ways something could go wrong.
I know.
So, like, what was your vibes? Were you like...
I mean, I thought he was super good looking. I thought he was like nice, like super nice. Which I was like, he's nice, like something's going wrong on this trip. Like, wait.
Hot and nice.
Yeah. And then soon after I realized, no, I'm kidding. No, he was really nice. Oh my God, am I in love?
Yeah.
No, he was really nice. So yeah, so then after we got wasted and then we went back to
does he speak English?
Yeah, he speaks English. He speaks like good English, but not like, you know, I don't want to say great English like me because I don't even speak English.
Yeah, I don't know if either of us are
to like start telling somebody like
they could use a bit of help. He's going, yeah, ma'am, I'll send you to the same speech therapist as me. Like, I don't know.
Oh my God. He speaks amazing French though, but he speaks really well in English too. But like, I wasn't about to show up on this trip and start with my farmer French.
Yeah.
So it was going to be English or it was going to be English.
You're going, hey, y'a-tu un poutine ici? He's like, never mind.
He's like, wow, I never want to be French. Like,
you're like, never mind. You're like, no, I only speak English. I know I'm from Montreal, but I only speak English.
Yeah, literally. I actually started off by saying that I only speak English.
And then one of your clients call you and you start going on French mode.
Exactly. In the corner, actually. In the closet room that I didn't have. You
He's
know?
going, j'entends le français.
So, anyway, so yeah, that was it. We had a really good night. We got to know each other. We got wasted. And then, like, it was super dark. We walked back to the villa and, like, we just, like, started making out in the middle of Mykonos and, like, just had sex. Like,
okay,
what?
wait.
I mean, you're sharing a room with somebody at this point. Day 1, day 5, is there really a difference?
You just fast forwarded.
It's so weird because it's against everything I've ever said on this podcast. I've always said, like, I will never sleep with somebody on a first date. I will never do any of that. Like, are you kidding me? Like, no, 3 dates minimum. Don't even, like, you know how I am. So, like, if we can find that tape when I say that
and just paste it on here
to, like, now, like, just banging somebody I don't even know, like,
I mean, realistically, who are you playing hard to get for?
But that's the thing.
Like, you're actually a loser if you say stop.
Yeah.
What? Like, no. I mean, you could. Don't get me wrong. You could.
yeah,
you do
like,
what you're comfortable with. But, like, you
if
can't.
the vibe was right and I felt it.
You're not going to start saying tomorrow. Like, he's going, okay, shut the fuck up. Like, sweetie, you're already here in this foreign country.
Yeah, you already decided to come here. Like, shut up. Just come already.
Yeah, seriously.
So yeah, it was just like it's just crazy because it's against everything I've always said. But
so do you feel like your advice is wrong?
I think I'm gonna fix what I said and say that, you know, if you're feeling it and it feels like the right thing to do, then just do it. I also feel like I wasn't expecting anything from this, you know. I think when you're trying to get somebody to commit to you, it's a little different. You're like, hey, let me bring out like my
strategizing
bag of chips.
Strategizing.
Yeah,
your bag of chips. What the fuck?
I said bag of tricks, but I said bag of chips.
Are you hungry?
I'm starving.
I'm always thinking about chips, so at least you fucked up and not me.
David, if you want to go get chips, I'm trying to say it in this podcast without saying I want chips.
She's trying to send subliminal messages. I pulled out my bag of chips.
So it was just like very flowy. It was such a good time. I'm so happy I met him. And yeah, like there was no like, I wasn't like hoping on anything. I just had an amazing time. I met amazing people at the villa. I really connected. And you know what? Like, uncomfortable situations make you scramble and make you be like, okay, like, let me, you know, let's say you go on a trip with friends, okay? You're never going out of your way to like meet other girls or because you're like, okay, well, you came with your friends.
You have your comfort zone.
It doesn't make you branch out. But when
Yeah.
you're actually alone and you're in this bitch alone, you have no choice.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes the best thing.
And that's what it is, because when you're, you have that blanket of security, your friends, you're never you're never in that mode where you have no choice but to make friends. You know what I mean? And it's very scary, but that's how you just open your eyes to everything else, and you really open yourself to new experiences when you don't even have, like, I think if you would have been with like just one other person that you knew, it would have been more comfortable, but you would have grown a lot less because you're keeping your tendencies that you have as your person that they know.
It's crazy
you are.
because it's like, you're meeting new people, and the thing about meeting new people is you get to show them whatever side you want. And not to say that you're a different person with your friends, but your friends will always know you as one person, right? So that when you're meeting new people, you kind of almost get to rebuild your character.
Exactly. So I
choose your character.
Yeah. You went slut. I'm joking.
She's not joking.
I'm all for being a slut. I think it's cool to be slutty. Okay. Stop calling me a slut. But
it doesn't even make you a slut to sleep with a guy. So anyway, we're just joking around.
I'm joking. But it's definitely true that people always say like, oh, I'm going on a trip to find, like, people when I had initially left.
Well, when
Australia,
I hear people say I'm going to find myself, I'm like, okay.
So that's what I'm saying. When I initially left for Australia, like, people would be like, why are you going? And like in my mind, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to discover who I am. But I would never say that.
Yeah.
But in the end, that was pretty much what happened, and that was pretty much the goal of the trip. Would
you say Australia changed your life though? Like, what are 3 things you learned from like being away?
Okay, well, first of all, 3 things is like deep, but I would definitely say just what we're saying right now is like getting out of your comfort zone. It was really, really scary for me going because I didn't I had no end date. The only thing I had booked was a flight there. So that was terrifying for me. Like, I didn't even know I was going to meet somebody. Like, I had nothing. So it was really, really scary. And I worried a lot about how I was going to make friends and how I was going to be.
remember that. She was like, I'm like literally alone. I'm going to have no friends. She comes back with like literally 60 friends. Because uncomfortable situations always makes you grow.
I'm going to be honest, at the beginning, it wasn't that easy. And I have spoken about it in the past, but going there, I was so scared. And even knowing that I'm a really social person, because that's what I am. I'm super social. Throw me in a room, I'll talk to anybody. Yeah. But you throw me in a room in Montreal, in my comfort zone, I'll talk to anybody. But you throw me somewhere where I don't have anyone to fall back on, I don't have some kind of backup plan. I was like a little lamb. And I got there in the first month. I couldn't get along with anybody. Not like we were fighting, but I just couldn't find people that had even similar interests as me. People were doing different things. I didn't really jive with anybody. Yeah. And I became super depressed, and I was like, oh my God, I made the wrong decision. Like, I can't come back now, but I'm so unhappy. Yeah. And once I just kind of like let go of that energy and just accepted that I'm going to step out, even though I'm really scared to talk to people, I'm just going to fuck it. I'm going to like invite myself places and throw myself into like other people's friendships. Okay, I'm breaking down the doors of friendships, but as soon as I got over that fear, that's when I really opened myself up and like found my people and like made friendships that I can't compare to, like, it's just a totally different level of a friendship you make, because like you said, when you don't know somebody, you go as whoever you want to be. Yeah. And there's nothing holding you back, because people tend to stick to like these stereotypes that the people around them have created. Like, for example, you were in school and you were the nerd. It's like, even though later on in your life you're not nerdy at all, or you have no interest like you did in high school, you always have this notion that you are a nerd, and you almost hold yourself to that standard. But and you feel like you need to be perceived to your friends too in such a way. And I think everyone in some way does it, because people also, like, you're not going to decide one day that I don't really have like a good explanation for this, but it's like your friends know your character. So you can't just show up one day and act completely different. It's not going to make sense. And that kind of like holds you to continue to always be who you are. That's so fucking true. Yeah. So once you step out of that and see, oh, maybe I was only this way because other people around me were, or maybe I only wanted these things because other people around me wanted them. That's when you're really able to differentiate who you are, what you want, and what you actually wanted and did just because other people were there.
So you went to Australia to find yourself.
I went to Australia to find myself.
And you found yourself.
I did. I came back a really different person, and I think anybody who knew me would be able to tell that. I think just not even my character, because I've always been authentic to myself, but I just think when I came back, I cared about what no one thought. And I'm so glad that I learned that while I was gone, because when you go somewhere where you don't know anybody, you really don't give a shit what they think.
Yeah.
Like, you do shit you would never do. You would be too embarrassed to do here, but you have no problem doing it where you don't know anyone. And once you get used to that high of like not caring whatsoever, coming back, you're just like this different person.
So
you just
crazy.
do all the things that you were too afraid that like what people would think about you. You just do them. And people can tell that you're like living that energy.
Right. Even when I was at the villa, like, I'm not even going to sit here and say like when I got there, I connected with every girl because I didn't, you know, I'm like so used to these type of girls that are like girly girls or very like who like I'm used to my friends. Right. So then you throw me in a mix with like people who are not exactly people I would chill with on an everyday basis. And like, you know, you're not struggling to find things in common, but
You're adapting, but you know what? Like, the beginning was adapting, and then like you get to learn people's characters, and then you start to love them for it, and then you're like, wow, that's what makes them, and then by the end, everyone's crying because everybody became friends, and you've learned and you've adapted, and now you've created these friendships, you know, that are so different.
But still amazing friendships.
Yeah. I think an advice that I could give for anybody that's like traveling or going somewhere new is like, as much as we say like be open, like try to find yourself, also be open to new things. Like like don't be so like, you know, you like clubbing, you don't go to bars. Don't try to seek out people that only go to clubs because that's what you like. Why don't you try to go to a bar, see if you might like it? You try to go, you know, you don't listen to techno music, but these new people you meet, they only listen to techno music. Why don't you try it? Like, you never know what you'll find out.
Like, I was like, it's not really my type of music. By the end, love the music. Like, it's just getting out of your norm and then learning that like there's so many different things in different cultures, and like you just like you
just get so comfortable in your place that you start to like make these things of, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, but the context is totally different when you're somewhere else. And with that being said, I also think it is good to still be true to yourself, and if you don't like something, don't do it, and if you're not interested, you're really gonna find out what you really don't like and what you do. But another thing that's funny is that you almost create these characters. Like, I feel like the person I was in Australia is not the same person that I am here, even though it is in a way. But I just feel like if I would go back, there's things that I have about myself or ways that I portray my character that would just automatically be different there, which is interesting because it's like I almost built another character there when I'm trying to find myself. But it all matches up, you know, like we say, you show different faces to different people, but the more faces you discover that you have, the more you're able to understand yourself as a whole.
So honestly, I've learned so much in this trip, and also learned that like, even like, no shame to my ex-boyfriend or anything, but now I've always said I wanted certain things, but you know, when you actually see them being done in other people, you start to go like, wow, these are actually new things I want on the list, or these are things that I actually didn't know I wanted, and now I absolutely want in my next relationship. Or, you know,
there's even things that like if somebody does something and you're like, oh, I love this, but then you meet somebody else and they don't do that, but you realize you're willing to go without it. Like, that's another interesting thing, because when you come fresh out of a relationship, you almost do this like trying to top your ex in a way. Like, my next guy has to have everything my ex had plus more. But you realize that sometimes the things that somebody did for you is just it worked in that relationship, but it doesn't mean that you need to be looking for that in your next one in a way, you know what I mean?
Like, wow, facts.
You know, like, sometimes we leave a relationship and we're like, oh, I love that, you know, my ex-boyfriend was so ambitious and hardworking. I'm never going to settle for a guy who doesn't work 27 hours a day. You know what I mean? And then you like have this thing, but then you meet somebody that doesn't do that and you realize, oh, this works also. You know, so I think it's really important to take, yes, you want to learn what you like and what you don't like, but don't try so hard to try to match what everybody else had, you know what I mean, and try to top it. It's like
so true.
Some things you're gonna realize you don't need.
And I also think when you're working so much on yourself and what it is you want, I think the universe just kind of guides you into people who are gonna fit your mold.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, so that was basically my trip. I was in another relationship for like 2 weeks while I was away.
And the season is gonna come out in, I don't know, what do you think, 5 months?
No, I just mean like, it's crazy though, because when you're living with somebody for 2 weeks, you're really seeing every side of them, you know? It goes quickly. Even if it wasn't a relationship, it is a relationship because you're together the whole time. You're waking up together.
And you don't have the choice. You're not going to start going like, sleep in a different bed or like, you know what I mean? It's like.
And then I forgot to mention, but after all, we ended up moving into the villa with everybody. So we had our own room there. So that was also really fun. So that also made me connect even more with the people there, because now you're waking up and there's other people around, which was also really nice. Honestly, like, what an amazing experience.
10 on 10 would recommend DMing some guys that fly to Mykonos.
Oh my God. No, but, and then after that, when you meet somebody and like, you know that it's not actually reality and that they live in another state and like you're coming back home, but like you're not ready to accept or believe it, that you want to continue everything. And then like from there we actually went to Barcelona. It's like we did like a weekend thing, and like it was really hard because like we weren't ready to say bye, or we weren't ready to accept the like, this is it, this is the end of our trip. And so that, I think that was really hard. And even like saying bye, it's like, yeah, we could say we're going to do another trip and we're going to see each other again. But like, I don't know, life unfolds the way it is. And I'm trying not to think too much into any of it anymore. And I'm just trying to like work on myself. And if the universe brings me to that again, if I never see that person again, then I'm so happy I met them. And if it ends up working out and we cross paths again, like that's also really cool. But there's no path. It's just me living.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
It's really crazy, like how fast you can create connections with people in such a short amount of time that sometimes feel deeper than things that have been around for so long.
Crazy.
I know, like when I left Australia, it's like I was really happy to see my family again and really happy to like be back home, but like again, like it was the hardest, like
it's because you know what it is,
for me to say goodbye.
There's a lot of what if, right? So like for me, it was like, well, what if we actually worked outside of this reality, this supposed like amazing dream, you know? What if we would actually click? Because we did click on the trip. So I think the what ifs can always like kill a person and could hurt more than an actual breakup, because you never got to actually see what it was like to try the relationship out.
Like for real.
So that's actually also fucked up.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like I'm also depressed to be back, you know? Like it's like reality, like Alessia, keep going.
Yeah. No, the what ifs, like I said, it's a killer when you think about what something could be. I will always say, and I've said this in the past, one of my most painful like breakups, which wouldn't even be considered a breakup, but one of my most painful breakups was actually just with somebody that I met for a couple of days. We spoke and like it was so hard because I had created this entire relationship expectation in my head and built who this person was, when in reality I didn't know him that well, like as a relationship, and we never really had the chance to have the relationship. And I was almost like mourning the loss of like what it could have been, you know? And that was really hard. Whereas when you're in a relationship for like a lot of years,
you've tried it and you've seen everything.
Yeah, you've seen everything. You've seen the flaws, you've seen the good, and you've tried to make it work. You've seen that what path it had. Whereas when you don't go down the path, it's like, oh my God, I lost this perfect, amazing relationship. But you don't know, it could have been the worst relationship. But that's not what I knew at the time.
I think, and also something I really learned is that I love, like, communication is actually key, and it's actually everything. And like, I feel like on this trip with this guy, I communicated way more than I ever did in my last relationship. Like in a matter of 2 weeks. Like it's not always how long you know somebody for that makes you communicate and like be open.
Yeah. It's also about how people's personalities like come together, you know, like people are like, we always say like, it's like a balance, you know, like sometimes like we're not balanced in the right way, and then it like clashes, and then it causes like a disruption in how people communicate.
Or maybe I was just really at this state where I was so open-minded and so it allowed me to be so communicative.
I also think like you weren't playing games because there was no game to play.
There was no game.
And I think in a relationship, not that you play a game in a relationship, but there's a lot of things like you were in a fight and now it's like I'm waiting for you to come to me and then now I did something wrong to you, and there's a lot of like not a game, but it is the way it's like done is like you're expecting something and then it's not, and then it's not given to you, and then so many things happen that it like kind of disrupts that. But when you're like just open and there's nothing there, it's like the best. That's why I always say trusting. You have to go in like blank slate, you know. It's the same thing with
you have to go in blank slate, just bang them and then just see where it goes.
Exactly. But like you can't, like, honestly, I realized that as much as fun it is to play games and to do stuff, there's just like a bliss in just allowing somebody to get to know you and allowing yourself to be known. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. Fuck, I just said.
Anyway.
But basically, and it's good that he was open too, because you also don't want to be the one with all your cards on the table and he's going.
But I think that's it. When you're vibing with somebody, you kind of, it just flows, you know what I mean? I wouldn't be there going, these are all my fucking problems, and communicating everything that's happened to me if I wasn't actually getting it reciprocated. So
exactly.
So
I guess that's a good tip. Like, just make sure your energy is always matched. Yeah. Because that's where you get hurt.
Or balanced.
Yeah. When you get hurt, it's like you gave too much and somebody didn't give enough.
Exactly.
So just make sure that what you're giving is also what you're receiving. But it could be tricky because sometimes people need to see that you're willing to give for them to give. It's so, and I feel like you're a kind of person like that where you're more like waiting to see.
I'm such like a reserved person, and I won't talk to anybody about my feelings. And like, I know it's crazy I have this podcast, but like, I haven't always been this way, and I'm still learning. And even in the villa, we did like this exercise where a girl had come and we did like a breathing exercise. It was kind of like a therapist / like breathing experience where you're like lying down for an hour and breathing and like getting into your thoughts. And like, I was so stressed about doing it before because I'm like, in what world, why did God choose for me to be here right now? Like, why am I, like, what's the lesson here? And like,
the lesson was learn how to shut the fuck up. And look at that, didn't learn,
still coming on this podcast and not
still motor mouth.
Oh my God, but crazy. Anyway, I was just so, I'm definitely happy to come back and like see my friends.
But you know, just not that happy.
Just, like whatever. But no,
guys, email down below if you're willing to replace Alessia. I need to start looking, you know, when in 2 weeks she says, never mind.
When people started saying like, what's happening with your podcast? Are you guys continuing? Like, is she coming back? Like, I was like, okay, guys, like, chill. I'm coming back. Not for long, but I'm coming back.
I'm here for now. Let's leave it at that.
But even like, I was so flowy in this thing that I had taken a certain amount of time off vacation, and then I exceeded my time, and I kind of let them know last minute with work and with even my mother. She was like, where are you and who are you with? And I was just like, I'm with my friend. I'm with Celia, you know? And she was like, and then when Celia had left because she was in another part of Greece, she was like, I just saw Celia posted and she's on the airplane coming back. Like, why aren't you coming back? Like, who are you with? And I was like, Mom, relax. I'm fine. No, come back. She's freaking out for me. And I'm just like, you know, when you're in this place where you're so zen, and Mom's like, why aren't you calling me? Why aren't you? And I'm like, I'm actually just living in the moment and trying to enjoy my trip. And sometimes you need that like escape.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's really
and
hard.
I get it, because she's like, you'll understand when you're a mom, like you're gonna want to know. And anyway, so she was all like freaking out when she saw Celia coming back. I'm like, who's gonna tell her I was never with Celia the entire time? Like, so then when I get back and we're eating breakfast, she's like, how come you didn't come back today? Celia, one of my friends came back. I'm like, Mom, I was never with her. I was never with her the entire trip. And she was just quiet for a minute. She's like,
terrible.
You'll understand when you have a kid.
I mean, look, that's always gonna happen. Like, nobody's ever just gonna be like, "Okay, see ya." Like,
but also, like, I was even talking about it with my mom, and she was like, you know, it's very different than my like she's trying to adapt to me, but she's like, I don't understand. Like, you just went from somebody you didn't know. Like, I just try and understand that, and it's just not from my time. And I'm like, Mom, just chill, relax. Trust your daughter. She's like, no, I trust you. I don't trust the people around you. I'm like, well, if you trusted me, then you would know that you didn't have to worry about the people around me. Anyways, I'm like, Mom, everyone was super nice and stuff. And now that she has me back, she's like,
yeah. Cool. I mean, at least you could be open with her. That's like lesson, you
Yeah,
know.
like I lied, but did I really lie if I told her?
We'll see.
We'll see.
It's definitely fun to be in that like perfect place where you don't have to call to anybody. You don't like nobody's expecting things.
Yeah.
Like
I
but
just
it's
did it
also
for my like not making her worry kind of thing, you know?
No, I know what you mean. Like it's also inevitable. Like I think you can't like in reality, like we're talking reality, you can't do that. You can't just, you know, expect people to not care because people will always care. But it's definitely really nice when you just have that open like to just go wherever you want and nobody's checking up on you and nobody's like on your back.
Yeah.
It's just like that freedom to just like leave me alone. I will be back, you know.
Yeah.
Don't worry, like
literally.
and that was the best thing I think for me when I moved to Australia. You know, the first 2 months, yes, my mom and my parents were like after me, but after a while the time change and everything, like there would be like a week or 2 weeks even that I wouldn't speak to them. I would just be like, hey, yeah, I'm good, how are you, like, and I would just go on trips and I didn't have anybody to answer to, and that was like just that in itself was like amazing.
Yeah,
you could just go wherever you wanted and you knew that you weren't gonna run into anybody, or you didn't have to lie, or you didn't have to like make up a story, you didn't have to like call somebody, that you were safe. It was just like, yo, I have my own life in my hands and I don't need to worry about anyone else. So that itself, that feeling was really nice. And that's why when I came back from that trip, it was really hard for me to move back in and answer to people again, because I was like, no, you know, like I almost had like that rebellion, like stop, like I just came from a trip where you guys let me on the other side of the world, like don't start saying where you going at 11 p.m. like bitch, I lived in a different country, like when I lived at my dad's house, he would be like, where you going? I was like, Dad, I lived in Australia, leave me alone. Like 2 seconds ago I wasn't even here, be grateful I'm in the same city as you.
I'm dying. It's true though.
Like
oh my god.
But yeah, I think the lesson here is take your life into your hands, and maybe you're in a relationship, maybe you're single, whatever it is, just
I'm just talking about my experience like going on a vacation, but there's so many other ways to like get out of your comfort zone. Start saying yes to things you wouldn't say yes to, and see where that leads you. Just that in itself, you might like become a different person.
Exactly. Like, it might be your job, it might be your friends. Like we were saying, friends is like a relationship, and it really molds who you are. So just if there's something you're not happy with, or if there's something that you feel like you want to know more, chase that feeling, because if not, you will always regret what you have not done. And even if you try and you don't succeed, it's way better than not doing it at all.
Exactly. And you know that we've spoken in the past about making a mood board and like putting things on there that you really want to like visualize and start happening. And let me tell you, some things started getting checked off on my mood board. So sometimes you just have to put it out what you want, but also forget about it. And then if it comes, it just like comes naturally. Like I was just looking at it the other day and I was like, oh shit, like what the hell? Like I didn't even...
Now I'm like, wait, what's on my mood board?
Sometimes you do it and then you don't even realize that you've checked it off. So you should always like, you know, make a mood board of things you want, be descriptive, know what it is exactly you want. And then if you're able to visualize it, then Veronica's like, nothing on my
I'm looking at my mood board here and nothing has been checked off. So
crazy.
How does that work?
I don't know if Chemical X is on there, but if it's not, it should be.
It is. And it says, Mom, I am a rich man. So that's definitely didn't work out.
I love that.
Make cool shit. So I did do that. I did make cool shit.
I feel like as much as we're in different paths, we're also still always connected. Like I feel like you're very right now in a work mode, like vibe, and you're killing it. And I feel like every day I'm hearing new things about you, and I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about it, but
well, I mean, I just think I go through flows. Like I've been through my like traveling, and like obviously now, yes, that part of me is like dormant, and like I'm sad about it, and I still crave that.
But you'll travel again, and then it'll come back.
But I know it will, and I'm still really, really happy working on myself, and like I get so much happiness off of like doing projects and being honestly overworked. I'm so like, as much as I'll complain about it, it like makes me thrive. It fuels me, and I feel so good when I'm working towards bettering myself, which is actually the same thing as taking a trip. So I guess that's where it comes, like the satisfaction comes through that. So right now, I'm more focused on just like making money just because I want the money to chase my dreams and just making cool shit.
But isn't it so fun to know that like you're at this place right now, but you won't always be at this place, and you're gonna hit your goals, and eventually like you'll look back and you'll say it's actually really fun to like hustle. And like, because eventually we're going to look back even at this podcast and it's going to grow and it's going to become where we want it to come, and it's going to take time, and sometimes we get impatient with that. But I think with all the work you put in, at some point it's just gonna have to, it's gonna pay off, and it's gonna be so rewarding.
Well, I think the only part where I disagree with you is like, as much as I have this like forward thinking work mode, I can really say that I'm like so happy with where I am, even though I know that like where I am right now is not where I want to be. I'm actually really happy with what I've achieved so far and like what I'm working on. Like I'm so satisfied with it, and it's not to say that I'm done. Like I'm satisfied with my work.
That's amazing.
But I think it's a really big step for me because I've always been somebody who was too much in the future, and like even my mom would always tell me like, you need to stop. And I think I finally hit the point. But my problem is because I always feel like I'm not doing enough. But I feel like I've hit the point now where I feel like I am doing enough, and I feel like I'm really happy doing what I'm doing, and everything has aligned, you know, because I would have 3 jobs, but I hated them all. And now it's like I have 3 jobs, but I love them all. So that's what's fun.
Wow.
Oh my God, what am I gonna cry?
I'm literally so fucking happy for you, because I feel like even for me, like I was like, I'm 25 years old and I'm always chasing this, like I'm getting older, I better get where I'm at. And now I'm like, I'm so in this place of zen. So I feel like this is going to be our best season ever, because we're in season 3. Our setup is fucking amazing. And we're also like, we're growing. So yes, we might have said things in the past that were not exactly, you know, true, or
you don't stand by them anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But it's all part of the process, and you guys are growing with us and learning with us. So
yes, and stick around to find new things. And honestly, thank you so much, guys, for all your support and listening. I know it sounds cheesy, I know it sounds like what everybody says, but people, like, I've been going out and people come up to me and they're like, I listen to you, and I'm like so fucking awkward. I'm like, oh, thank you. And I don't know what to say, but like from the bottom, I literally think about it the whole time, and
it's
I'm like,
crazy. It's literally what fuels us to continue. I think when you hear people that are like not, I wouldn't
just
say
enjoying.
We're enjoying. It's like, wow, we're doing this and it's actually getting to you, and it's you're actually watching and you're appreciating the work we're putting in. So I think that's the best part of it all.
So I'm really excited. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for listening. We'll be back with another episode next week.
Back with another episode.
Let us know what you liked. Let us know if you guys have any recommendations of topics you want us to talk about. Don't forget to subscribe, follow.
This new season is a new fucking season. We want to throw in a bunch of
gardens here, baby. The grass is greener, so let us know.
Oh my God, literally. Guys, don't forget to rate us 5 stars on our Instagram.
On our Instagram.
That was the whole thing. Like, rate us 5 stars. Like, tell us we're hot. Also, rate us 5 stars on Spotify and iTunes if you're listening. If you're listening on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment like Veronica said. We love you.
Thank you so much. See ya.
Oh.